Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders Lab podcast. Today, I have a very, very special guest for you guys. Is one of my amazing friend that I met when I was in Kuala Lumpur. Mr. Snow. He took me under his wing as a big brother. Opened Kuala Lumpur for me, connected me, showed me around, introduced me to amazing people, and just in the process, get to know a wonderful human being, a true leader with a heart. And he has one of the most inspiring, empowering, and incredible path and journey in life. And I told him from the beginning, brother, I need to bring you on the podcast, and it's been in the making. And he said, okay, we'll get there, we'll get there. And finally, we're here today. So a little bit about him. Again, I'm just going to summarize it at the very highest level because just his introduction can be 10 minutes, easy. From Joliet, just south of Chicago, big time basketball player back in the day, in the days of the Bulls. And then after that, again, the military. He was a former, I believe you said, the former pilot for the Air Force. Or you work with the Air Force, and then after that, you went into working for the U.S. embassies around the world, and then you were stationed in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and then you decided, hey, this is my home, and you've been there for 14 years, building a new life, wonderful, beautiful life, inspiring life, and you're working on something amazing, which is the iBallin movement. I just love the motto: play locally, win globally. We're gonna cover all of that. Just as I said, we can do an entire season, me and you. One would be talking about your basketball days back in Joliet and Chicago and all that, and then another one on your military stories. Hey, and one thing about that, one thing that really connected us from the start is that he served in Afghanistan, and me being an Afghan Canadian, that's something that can really resonate with me. So,
Yeah.
brother, thank you for your service. Deeply appreciate it. You know, so that was the first thing. Remember when you picked me up in your car the first day we connected? You mentioned I said, "Oh, that was really what really got my attention the first time." I said, "Holy fuck, we have things in common." But
Yeah.
anyways, and the way we got connected was through one of our common good friends, Beverly Zymet. She was on my podcast, and then she's also one of the contributors on my book, Leaders with a Heart. And when she saw my post on Facebook that I was going from Thailand to Malaysia, she said, "Oh, I have a friend in Malaysia." I said, "Okay, connect me." She connected me, and the next day we met. He took me for lunch at a place that would become almost my office, Marini. It was beautiful. So the rest is story. Anyways, I can talk for hours, but we're gonna dive deeper into your amazing path. So, brother, it's an absolute honor having you on the show. Finally, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, Lorenzo, finally, man, got on your podcast. Um,
Yes.
uh, Before I get started, let me just correct the record just for just a moment there. The
Yes.
introduction was humbly fantastic. Um, yeah, I played basketball, grew up in Joliet, Illinois, playing basketball at the high school level. I got signed to play for the junior colors there, but I joined the military instead. Air
Mhm.
Force. Inside the Air Force, I worked in aviation operation. I was not a pilot,
Ah, okay.
although I did have the opportunity to fly many airplanes. Um, I'm not a pilot though.
You
So
should.
just that one
Yes.
correction.
Thank you. You showed
I
me some
did go.
pictures of you flying those amazing.
Yeah, I've had after I met you and I've talked to some others before, and I've had opportunity to share my backgrounds and what I've been doing and where I've been.
Yeah,
I'm coming to the realization that I've had a very, very, very um, amazing life.
indeed.
Struggles, ups and downs, and challenges, but I hands down have had a pretty unique career, all the way up into serving as a military diplomat at the embassies around the globe, as you mentioned, in Afghanistan, the embassy in Bangladesh, and then I wrapped up my business here at the embassy in Malaysia before I retired. For
Mhm.
24 years served in the Air Force, one of my most
Beautiful.
crowning achievements. Served with honor and distinction in the Air Force for 24 years. I did a pivot and started doing logistics for heads of states here in Malaysia, to the likes of President Obama a few times, Air Force One, uh, Prince now King Charles, King Salman, Saudi Arabia. The list goes on and on. former president of France, Francois Hollande from France, on and on and on. So,
Yeah.
but what I'm doing now and what I've been doing lately is my passion project, which has led me to you, and a lot of the wonderful things that you're doing is the iBallin brand here, as you can see.
We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll talk about that. We'll definitely dive deep into that. But before we start, I want to ask you a series of rapid fire questions. But before even that, for people who don't know you, over and beyond what you just told us, who is Snow as a person, as a man, as a human being?
Oh wow, I don't know how to answer that question, man. Very very I would say humbled, humbling individual.
Yes.
I grew up in Joliet, Illinois, in the 70s and 80s. I suppose that could be, if you're from Joliet, you might know what that could mean. But I think that I live by the motto: treat people with respect, treat people the way you want to be treated, and then some. Yeah. I'm now living my life just to try to pay back to all those societies that has given me so much.
Beautiful. And that's a beautiful position to be in, because now it's time to do something that's in line with your heart, to give back. That's the most beautiful thing to do, beautiful for that. All right. So now what I usually like to do is to start with a series of rapid fire questions to further get to know you as a person. Ready?
Yes, I think so. I'm nervous.
All right.
Oh, by the way, because of you, Lorenzo, this is my very first podcast I've ever done. So be gentle.
Listen, you're doing phenomenal, brother. You're a natural speaker. You're a born leader. Your charisma is really oozing. We can see it, can feel it. Anyways, first of all, tell us, what makes you happy as a person?
Oh, what makes me happy as a person? I'll tell you this: rapid fire questions. A cup of coffee and a sunrise.
Oh, love that. Yes.
Man, forget about it. If I can have that every morning, I'm truly blessed.
Remember the video you just shared with me this morning about the guys offering
yeah, that's right.
What about 10 million? Okay. Would you take the 10 million if I told you you're not gonna wake up tomorrow? Nobody would take it. So again, just the fact that you're waking up each morning, that's the greatest blessing in the world. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. That video I sent it to you today. The guy was making the suggestion, asking the guys, if I gave you $10 million today, tomorrow when you wake up, would you have less problems? Would you feel a lot better? They said, yeah, of course. And so then he reversed the question by saying that so if I give you $10 million today, but tell you that you won't wake up tomorrow when you take the 10 million, it says no. Why? Because tomorrow's such a blessing. The moral of that story is, we'll then treat every morning, every new day like it's a blessing. So yeah, so for me, that I guess I hit realization because, dude, I sit here in my home office on whatever floor I'm on in this condo, and the sun rises just over that way in the morning. Every morning, 7:15. Over here in Malaysia, the sun rises and sets 7:15, 7:20 every morning, sets 7:15, 7:20 every night. So the sun peering over those hills, looking into the valley of Kuala Lumpur, it makes me very, very, very happy.
Absolutely. And for those that have not been to Kuala Lumpur, he lives in one of the primest places, right? 2-minute walk from the Twin Towers, the Petronas Twin Towers. It's, I stayed 3 months in Kuala Lumpur, and I could never get tired of the sight of those two massive, amazing buildings. It's absolutely
in fact, they're right behind you.
Yes.
And also, if you squint your head and tilt your head a little bit, you can even see where I'm sitting right now.
Yes, indeed. It's one of those buildings. Yes.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
What else you got?
That's a beautiful reminder. All right, now, what makes you smile as a person?
What makes me smile as a person? I would tell you honestly, seeing my wife walk past my office in the morning.
Yes, absolutely. Now, let's take the happiness a couple of notches higher. What makes your heart come alive? What sets your soul on fire in a positive way?
Um, honestly, giving back this quest that I'm on. Um, I know what it's like for someone to travel globally, and what it does for individuals in their broadening their horizons. And where I come from, where I grew up, not a whole lot of many people get the chance to travel, right? So what makes me excited, makes my heart leap is this opportunity that I have in my hands where I can give back to these societies, an opportunity to help someone start their career, start their journey um, in global travel.
Beautiful.
I've always I guess I've done relatively well in the military because I was always looking to serve. Um, and when I retired, I jumped in these logistic positions because again, it allows me to help folks coming to this country to do whatever they're doing.
Mhm.
So that being in the service industry um, makes me excited and complete.
Absolutely. I felt that from the beginning because you have a big heart and it's all about giving. And that's why I was compelled to meet you in the first place. And then from our first conversation, I knew that I had to bring you on a podcast. So keep
Thank
shining your light, brother. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what makes you sad and angry?
you. You know what? This might sound kind of like a cop out, but I um I used to be a really aggressive driver. Uh, I mean, really, really aggressive
I guess
driver.
in the US, you have to, right?
If you if you start to encroach me in my car and cut me off, then I'm the guy that's slamming on the horns, yelling, fussing at you. I've even cut people off who cut me off,
Wow.
gotten out of the car just to address them. Or if you're in the back and you're honking your horn at me, some of you listening to this podcast, this might be you. But if someone's honking at you in the back, in your rear, and then you park your car, get out of the car, and tell them, listen, what the F are you? What are you? Um, I can't hear you if you're honking, so you obviously you want my attention. Now you got it. Uh, I was really aggressive like that for a long time, and I had an eye-opening experience where I made an aggressive move, and I almost ran this motorbike over. Oh, not almost. I did run him over.
Wow.
So my wife used to tell me for a long time that she was terrified of driving with me. So in this journey that I'm on of entrepreneurship, I've learned to that experience happened. I learned to kind of slow down, and I'm really practicing on not getting angry, not getting upset. So to answer your question, um, I suppose there are some things that will set me off,
Mhm.
but in my head right now, I'm fighting the battle every day to not be angry, upset, or let any negative energy pierce the soul.
Yes. Beautiful. Wow. Wow. Now, what scares you?
What scares me? I've had the last couple of years some really scary events happen in my life. 20, of course, losing the all the businesses from the pandemic in 2020. Uh, at first, having no revenue streams coming in, that was a bit alarming. But really, the biggest scare was I got a son who's 30 plus years old, and I got a phone call from my ex that his kidneys shut down. So I had to fly my wife Claire here, um, handled everything here. I dropped everything, dude. I dropped everything,
Yes.
all business opportunities, and just ran his bedside to help my ex and nurture him back to health. And then that was 2021. 2022, and I was back in the U.S. for 10 months doing that. 2022 was going to see my daughter graduate. 4 days before watching her graduate, my mom tells me she got diagnosed with cancer, stage 4
Oh
cancer.
no.
stomach cancer, ovarian cancer. So these were some very terrifying moments for me. Uh, but I tell you, everything happens for a reason. And I got on this entrepreneurship journey. And I believe that if I hadn't changed my mindset at those times, I don't know how I would have handled those situations. Losing a loved one is pretty scary. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry to hear about that, man. Yes. You told me about your son.
They're all doing great.
Thank God.
My son is coming up on August, will be 2 years cancer free, knock on wood. And that's for kidney failure and donors list. You have to be, if you've had diagnosed with cancer, you have to be 2 years cancer free before you can go on the list. So this coming up August, if he maintains his current trajectory, he will be 2 years cancer free. And if you see him now, he's a 6'4". He looks down on me. I'm 6'2", and strapping. He's getting to be strapping lad again. So he looks completely healthy, and restarting his life again. My mother's so far cancer free as well.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah,
God is great.
So, yes, exactly.
Now, what would you say is your personal superpower?
You know what? For a long time, I told when the Marvel's movies were coming out, and my kids were small, they're all grown up. But when they were small, I told them individually, you know what? You're a Snowden. My name is Marcus. My mother named me Marcus Snowden, so that's where it's partly where the nickname Snow comes from. But I told my kids, you're a Snowden, so you have a superpower. And your old man's superpower is the gift of gab, the ability to communicate, is what I said.
Yes.
No, that's my superpower. I can communicate. I think I can. I have had the opportunity to talk with, associate with, negotiate with different walks of life from all over the world. I've either visited, lived in, worked in, traveled through. I think I'm up to 35 countries now.
Beautiful. One thing I have to say about you that you're very talented when it comes to storytelling. When you start telling a story, it's very captivating. You just can hold your audience's attention. That's something that I noticed. So yeah,
and I appreciate that, but I don't know. The reason why I was so hesitant to come on your show, because we were talking about it from the day one since I met you. I met you the second day you got here.
Yes.
January 12th. And I was very happy to show you the 10-cent tour that turned into the dime tour that turned into the $1 million tour, because you're such an interesting fellow yourself. But I have those connections, and I'm able to do those stories, as you say, organically. And when you kept trying to get me on this screen here, I'm actually a shy guy, technically speaking, but I love what you're doing with your podcast, with your book. We'll talk about that later. So sharing my stories with folks who are genuinely interested, and it's organic, it makes it just flow a lot better. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine. Yes, indeed. Now, let's move forward. You love traveling, right? You mentioned you've been to 35 countries, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, let me take you down. We can do an entire episode just on the travel experiences, but let me take you down a different type of traveling, down memory lane. Go back to when you were a young boy growing up in Joliet. You know, when we're kids, people around us, family, teachers, parents, relatives always ask us, so Snow, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer as a young boy back then?
I had two, but one was I wanted to be a chef. Really?
Wow.
I've always wanted to fly, but I wanted to be a chef.
Beautiful. Now, growing up, what was your relationship with school? Did you love school or did you hate school?
I can honestly say that I I think I hated it.
Why?
Only because I wasn't smart. It was I was terrified of school, man. Um, I little known fact, and I'm able to share this now as I got a little bit older. But if any of my old junior high friends see this, they're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Or even high school, I couldn't read until I was in high school.
Wow.
Um, I played basketball, and some people this is one of the problems with some of those school systems. At least back then it was, is that you can play a sport, they'll make sure that you pass.
Really?
And
Wow.
so I got my first slam dunk when I was in eighth grade, what, 13 years old.
Wow. Wow.
Um, so I got to high school, and that's when it was discovered that I could not read, and I was never really a good student. Um, and that year, another tragic thing happened to me. But I didn't make the grades, and I was second half of school. I was ineligible to play basketball.
Wow.
Uh, and the teacher, you know, shout out to Miss Sally. Miss Sally, she realized that I couldn't read, uh, and she was the one who made me during lunch hours and the other, what is it, whatever the bullshit classes are that you take just for as space fillers during those times. She made me come to her classroom, remedial reading or whatever, and taught me how to read.
Beautiful.
14 going on 15 years old.
Well, for anyone,
So
I can confirm that you're far from not being smart. You're one of the smartest guys I've met. So
we
kudos for that.
appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you
Yes,
were in
sir.
school, what was your favorite subject?
My favorite subject was always English.
Oh, wow.
Because my mother uh was a was an artist and a poet.
Wow.
And so I grew up reading her poetry, learning her poetry. In fact, one of the mantras that I have growing up since I can remember is this poem called "But I Did." But I did, and it
Mm.
goes like this: I know I said that I never would, but then I thought that I never could, but I did. Very simple. It's published in 1979. Um, so English, all of my grades in school, all of my grades in school were D's and F's, some C's, D's and F's. English was B's, sometimes A's,
Wow.
but C, D, C, D, D, F, C, D, A, C, D. You know, the next term or whatever, C, D, F, A, and English across the board was good, mainly because of the poetry. I took to the poetry.
So you said you were not able to read up until grade. What did you say? Grade.
My sophomore year,
Okay, but
freshman
you
year.
said you grew up reading your mother's poems. So did you did?
Well, I, I don't, I couldn't read them.
Mm.
She read them to me. So then, of course, I
Okay.
could. Then I know what they said at that point.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So was there any subject that you could not stand back in school?
Oh, because man, I struggled with all the courses in school.
Was it because of the teacher or because you just were bored in class?
I can't put my finger on it. I can't put my finger on it. There was people didn't know this, but I was very shy, very reserved. Although I was always tall. I was always big. I think in like I said in eighth grade, seventh to eighth grade, I didn't start playing basketball until eighth grade, which is late for us. And I got my first slam dunk because Miss Dean Johnson told me that I should stop being timid on the floor, and she worked on timing with me in my hops, and I got my first dunk like this. Um, but school, man, we were vicious. Our kids were vicious. You know, making fun of you, bullying you is I had to fight a lot. So I remember in eighth grade, you know, growing up in Joliet, Illinois, there was a question in one of the classes, and the answer was Illinois, the state that we live in, Illinois, and I couldn't even answer that question. It was one of the most embarrassing moments in school was where he gave me a hint uh, of of um of the answer. He says, "No, what state do you live in?" Trying to get me to dial down to I think the
Yeah.
city. What state do you live in? And I
Wow.
said, United.
States. Okay.
Dude, those kids ate me alive.
Oh, can imagine.
My buddy was trying to whisper the answer to me. I believe it was Joliet, my hometown, the
Mm.
city, Joliet. And I didn't know it. I couldn't read it. I didn't know it. And so the teacher says, "Oh well, let's start with this. What state do you live in?" Trying to narrow it down. What state? And I said United. Um,
Wow.
yeah, very, very, very embarrassing.
What a turnaround from a guy that could answer what state do you live in to traveling around the world to 35 countries, serving around the world. Wow, what a transformation. Wow.
Well, you know what? You know what? I found out that I learned something
Mhm.
is that when I joined the military and actually going back, I almost didn't graduate high school
Wow.
because of the physics class or one of these other math classes, which I'm terrible at math. Um, I didn't pass that course my senior year. I didn't pass the last test. And so I was told that I'm going to be held back. I was one of those guys that got held back in high school until, remember, I told you Miss Sally taught me how to read? Her daughter, Leanne Sally, told me that I don't know who did it, but that teacher graded my test on the curve, or no, the whole test on the curve. And so I made graduation by 1 point.
Wow. So what was different with Miss Sally's approach that made you read that other teachers were not able to do?
I don't know.
Was her
Other than
personality or approach? She was more caring, more loving, more patient.
honestly, it was just this simple.
Mm.
She cared.
Yes.
She cared. She said, you know what? This young man is not going to go through life not knowing how to read. On your breaks, come in my classroom. I
Yeah.
didn't have her. I didn't have her for a teacher. She was not my teacher.
Wow.
She just learned that this other black kid does not know how to read. So therefore, she's gonna take the extra step to
Mm.
make sure he knows how to read. Um, so Leanne, listen, shout out to your mother. I'm not sure where she is, how she's doing. But yeah, and Leanne, you're the one that got me to graduate. No, I wasn't gonna go to the graduation. I was so embarrassed, but Leanne, she convinced me. Said, no, you gotta do this. So yeah,
What an angel.
I'll always remember that.
Yeah.
I joined the military and I took college classes.
Mm.
3.4 GPA.
Wow. First of all, shout out to Leanne and Miss Sally. They were absolute angels for you. Some people come in
Yes.
our lives that come out of the blue. They no connection, but they just change our lives, they transform our lives, you
Mhm.
know? And I feel that these two ladies were had a mission in your life to really help you. So if you can, reach out to them if you stay in touch with them.
Yeah, I will. I will. Um, I can probably find Leanne, or if this comes across Leanne,
Yeah.
reach out.
Yes. What was your first job? And do you remember how much you made for your first time you got paid?
You know what, man? I've worked since forever. My first paying job was through one of my father figures. His name is Skip
Mm.
Hassan Tapiq Hakim Saeed.
Wow.
Um, he took me around with him doing his. He was a handyman, so he had a son about my age as well. So we would play together. But I would ride a lawnmower and cut the grass. Did that for a while. That's before I was of age to actually work.
Mm.
legally. My mother, she worked with her brother, my uncle, on a janitorial service deal, and I was going around cleaning YMCA's and malls and office buildings with her. Um, then when I got of age and I could go apply for a job, my first official job was at a restaurant in the back washing the dishes.
Mm.
I went from washing. So from here, I'm seeing this particular trend. I went from washing the dishes to short order prep work on the line to replacing the chef. The
Wow.
uh the the owner of the restaurant said that she was going to have me replace the chef, and she did, and she was going to have me go to culinary school in Chicago and give me a restaurant upon graduation. That's when I was young. Um, I worked for White Castle's. You know White Castle's hamburgers?
No, we don't have it in Canada.
But I worked for Wendy's, which you have in Canada.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And yeah, I've done those jobs before I joined the military.
So you're a good chef, huh?
I used to cook pretty well.
You know, when I come back to KL, I want to try your cooking, but
Well, here it kind of doesn't make any sense to cook food because the
yes.
food is so delicious, so cheap around here. But yeah,
Mhm.
I got what you mean.
I hear you. You know, one thing that you mentioned that really resonated with me, you said you were growing up, you were very shy. I was also very shy. But for me,
Mhm.
what was my saving grace was that once I got into the football pitch, the soccer pitch, I became a
Mhm.
beast because I was good. I was
Oh,
no shy. I was actually the seen as a leader, was respected in sports because I was very fast. This is what allowed for me to feel validated and also allowed me to overcome my shyness in some way. Would you say for you was the same once you stepped on the basketball court, your shyness disappeared because you were an imposing big guy already and you were seen as a leader? Would you say something similar for you?
unfortunately, in terms of basketball,
Mm.
in terms of the sport in and of itself, no, I was not. I was not beastly. I was even shy when I played basketball. The only area where I was not shy at, and there's only two areas where I used to kind of brag at, is slam dunks and flying. Um,
What do you mean flying?
uh, Flying planes.
Ah, okay, yeah, yeah, okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm not a pilot. I was never a pilot, but for someone who's not a pilot, I have a lot of hours log flying because I have friends who are pilots, and we go up just goofing around. I don't say goofing around the military. I've gone on single flights in the military when we're deploying in and out of an area, and I have an opportunity to jump in the seat and get some stick time. That's very cool. Um,
Yeah.
but I used to be able to jump pretty high. In fact, I've won every slam dunk contest I entered in the Joliet area, uh, and I've had people until recent times. They still remember whatever dunk I did on them way back when. Uh, yeah, so
What was your style? Was it more like Vince Carter style? Was it more like Dominic Wilkins?
probably like Neek because Dominique went off the vertical a lot of times, and I
Uh,
couldn't. I stopped running. I stopped dunking off the run because I got undercut one time. I fell pretty hard. So
oh yeah.
um, my I used to remember jumping and just floating and waiting alley oops. My point guard Michael Thompson, he couldn't throw me a bad alley oop.
Wow.
Um, so he turned. In fact, look at the snow. This little saying right here
That's
is
you?
one of the things. That's one of the things that my point guard would say. He's coming on the court. Look at the snow. That tells me to go pivot, roll, and then jump because the ball is coming, and then boom! Oh, on this picture right here. Ah. So
Wow.
now those were fun moments. Now 350 pounds, 25, 30 years later, 350 pounds later, those those days ain't happening.
Were you able to dunk from the free throw line, or some people even from the 3-point line? That's
No,
good.
no. To dunk from there, you have to go off the run.
Yeah.
I had to go vertically. So
Wow.
mine was a lot of posts, a lot of drop steps, um, and going upstairs. I've done some 360 dunks way
Whoa.
back when. In fact, that's what won me the dunk contest, the 360. People still tell me, my little brother would tell me he was at that session where he says you went around, then you spun, and as you're spinning so fast, you open your legs, you stop instantly, and this went through, boom. So
So you did
I
the
used
move
to,
that you did the move that MJ made famous, but even before MJ, eh?
no, 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 no. Yeah, but that was fun.
Yeah.
So slam dunking, basketball. I was never dominant in a basketball game. I only played just that much better than my opponent, or tried to play that much better than my opponent. I never tried to embarrass anybody or just
Mm,
completely shut them down. I never had ever. I just enjoyed playing the game because I was with my friends.
mm,
I,
yeah. So
that
moving
was
forward from high school, I remember you said that at one point you were about to get a scholarship to go play basketball in college, but then you decided to move instead to go for the military. Talk us to us about that.
I signed I signed to play basketball for Joliet Junior College,
Mm,
uh, and then my what I what I would call my blood brother, my father figure Skip. He had a son. We were very close at one point, and he was a year ahead of me. And so when I was graduating, he asked me what's my intentions after graduation. I said, no, I just signed to play basketball with Joliet Junior College. And so he talked me into joining the military.
wow.
So so I went to join the military, but I told my recruiter that no, when I told the coach that I'm joining the military, he kind of got irate and said, I can't do that because I signed a contract with him to play for him. And so he went back to the my recruiter made me understand, don't worry about it, we'll get you out of that. And so they worked a deal, got me out of it. And so I went to join the military. The condition was, of course, I can't play for the military, the Air Force Academy or anything or any other collegiate sport. But I was enlisting, so that was a non-issue.
Mm,
Best decision of my life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about the military. So you said you were deployed around the world. You were deployed, you said, in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Oh, I think that's another story for another podcast.
Yes.
I served for 24 years in the Air
Wow.
Force, and I served in aviation operations, flying operations, and I'm going to a lot of different my every year because of some things that happen in the military. I used to go to this dark space, and
Mm.
I have to look at my old records, and that's when I realized that holy shit. I did this campaign. I was in this conflict. I did this. I did that. Holy shit! Since 1989, 1990, 91, if there was something cooking military wise, I had my hands in it.
So you did the first Iraq war. What is it? Operation Desert Hawk in the
No,
early.
not Operation Desert Storm. No, I just joined the military, and I was with the training organization. We were training pilots how to fly at that time, so I didn't get deployed for those. But
Wow.
Operation Northern Watch, anything after that, 92 and on, I had my hands on.
Mm. And then one thing that's you were deployed in Afghanistan. How long were you so were you in Kabul or just around the country?
I was in Afghanistan for a year. There was a year assignment. We got our organization got kicked out of Afghanistan. Um, we were asked to leave, but so
Invited. Yes.
I was in Afghanistan for a year. Did that for a year.
Were you mostly based in Kabul or just traveling around the country?
Yeah, that was my first embassy position
Ah,
was in
okay.
Kabul, but we did do some things around the region.
Anything you still remember from Afghanistan? Any highlights? Any?
Yeah, there's some things.
Mm.
Um, I don't know that I'm ready to share
Share whatever
some of
you
those
want.
points
Yeah.
in Afghanistan. I'll tell you this. Goes along the lines of me cooking is that we would do one very good friend of mine there. He actually helped me through a very tough period in my life there. Um, we would do French toast Fridays where I would score some bacon from one of the mess halls, whatever, and come to his place and make a delicious French toast recipe that I have, and some bacon and just have a chat at the same fella's place. Me and one of our translators, interpreters, we went out down the back roads to some place to score some meat, and I had never had an I've heard about it before, filet mignon. I've never had tenderloins before. And we brought this, he brought, my job was to watch the car while he goes to this back road to wherever to, in this open market that we were off, it was off limits.
Mm.
This is just it's just too dangerous. But my dumb asses went with them to get this tenderloin. He came back with a newspaper. He was gone for about not quite an hour, 45, 55 minutes. He was gone for a long time. And I was getting nervous. And he comes back with this newspaper rolled up and
Right.
unrolls this log of meat. And I was able to slice it up and make 20, 25 thick medallions of tenderloin. And I
Wow.
grilled it up for the group back at the compound. So people still talk about when they see me, they still talk about that tenderloin that I cooked that time in Afghanistan.
You must have become quite popular in the group back then because of your cooking, eh?
Cooking, and we done some other things.
Yeah.
For what it was worth, I mean, for what it was worth, Afghanistan was probably one of the most rewarding jobs I've done in the military.
In what way?
Um, uh, feeling your sense of duty and patriotism. So I was able, we did a couple good things back there for the greater cause.
Mhm.
Um, but but it was reflecting back on it now, those jobs that we do in the military is just it takes its toll. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Were
it
you
takes its
dealing a
toll.
lot with the locals?
For the nature of our work, yes, yeah.
How did that go? How did you
We
find
were
locals to
we
be?
were no we no we were different. We were a different outfit. We were in plain clothes. We were
Mm.
not in
Ah, okay.
military attire. So whatever jobs that we're doing, we're hands on, and you can see the nature. You can see the fruits of the labor very quickly if you do it right.
Mhm. How do you like the Afghan food?
Oh, loved it. I can't call. You told me you asked me earlier what was the name of it, but I can't recall it. Um, but one of the places again, we weren't really supposed to be there, but they have some great food. Uh, but it got bombed shortly
Oh
after we
no.
were going. Shortly after we were going. Uh, um, yeah, a lot of the street meats, the kofta kebabs, and all this was just delicious,
Yeah.
absolutely delicious.
I have a
The
homework.
spices,
Oh yeah.
the spices that are used are just amazing. In the bread, yeah.
Yeah, the bread, the rice, did you try dough? The drink with
Yeah.
sorry, not milk, yogurt, crushed ice, crushed garlic,
Mm.
uh, and what do you call it? Mint on top. This is a perfect drink to have on a hot afternoon day. It really makes you just want to sleep after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Powerful. Yeah.
I had this. That wasn't one of my favorites. I always take it just to be social, but But I'm not a big mint guy. So
Yeah.
yeah. Although I did drink a lot of mint tea in Turkey.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
I have homework for you.
Yeah.
Find
What you
out
got?
if found out if there is an Afghan restaurant in KL. When we come, I'll take you there. My treat.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Done. Yes, done.
All right. Awesome. Now, so you went to the military for a while. Um, After the military, talk to us about your path. Would you say your path from school, the moment you left college and school, was it more pretty much straightforward, smooth sailing, or was it more like a turns and twists, like a roller coaster?
Um, it's I've had a really awesome career.
Mm,
Um, but then again, I recognize that I have the mentality that wherever I'm at is
mhm.
awesome.
Yes.
I make the best of wherever I go. I spent to summarize it very quickly. I spent the first year in the Air Force teaching pilots how to fly planes. I was working in aviation, teaching them how to fly planes. That's what the mission was. I was just admin support there. Then I went up to North Dakota, where I worked in Grand Forks, North Dakota, not far from the Canadian border.
Yeah.
Winnipeg is just a couple hours north.
Yes.
Um, uh, uh, so we did that for about 5 years. And I had a great time up there, although that's out in the frozen tundra, no man's land, but had a wonderful time there too. Then I went down to San Antonio, Texas. My son got sick. He had a bone marrow transplant, the same one that had lost his kidneys recently. And
Mm.
so we did San Antonio, Texas for a few years before I went to uh, RAF Lakenheath in England, north of London. Got a chance to work with the fighter jets, F-15 Strike Eagles. Wonderful, wonderful mission. Took me all over the planet doing things. Then I went to Special Ops headquarters in Herbert Field, Florida. A great bunch of professionals down there. I joined DIA and got picked up for the embassy work, which led me to Afghanistan, Bangladesh embassies, and then the Malaysian embassy, which I've done some fantastic work at the Malaysian embassy for 4 years before I retired. Then I pivoted to my civilian career.
I was working in Bangladesh.
Oh man, that country.
That is amazing there.
No, not amazing. I've seen a lot of countries, but that country at the time was the worst.
Oh, okay.
It was the worst in terms of illnesses, infrastructure, power outages. Um, but again, I had a great time.
That's what
Uh,
matters.
I had a great time. You can walk down. When I got there, I was instructed, Snow, we know how you are. You cannot eat the food in the streets. These restaurants you can eat at, other restaurants you can't eat because I think the water table in there, something like this here, the ground is polluted with poison, arsenic, and some other things. And
Oh,
so if your body is not used to that, you will be deadly sick. So I was
wow.
there for 4.5 months or so, and I got the worst bout of food poisoning that I've ever had.
Because you were
Um,
curious, you just had to try it. Yeah. When people tells you not to do, you just had to do it.
Listen, that is that's my MO. That has been my MO. But at that post, people put me to the side and said, Snow, you can't do it. Snow, we know you're going to go to this place over here. This place is off limits, but you cannot be there on this particular time because their forces are coming inside to do some house cleaning. You will get killed. So we're giving direct order: do not be there during this time. Um, or these restaurants here are off limits because of the poison that goes on there with the food poisoning. So I didn't do it. I didn't do it those times, but only one time I did it. One time I did it because we had an agent. We had an agent who's from Bangladesh,
Uh-huh.
American from Bangladesh, grew up there, another place. So I went with him, thinking it was okay. But they said, no, man, he's from here. So his body can take it, yours cannot. 4 days. They came looking for me in my hotel room. I didn't leave my hotel room for one full day. They found me the next day, bed just soaked in sweat, bad.
You know what that reminds me of when you said that that's your MO. When someone tells you not to do something, you do it. And that reminds me of when you said when you were growing up, reading the poem from your mother, especially said, "I did it." How
I
do you
did,
think?
yeah.
How do you think that subconsciously affected your mindset, your attitude growing up? And when someone told you not to do something, you had to do it.
Yeah, this is what is coming out of this program of mine here, iBallin.
Yeah,
People have told me you can't do it this way, you can't do it the way, that's not the way. Okay, well, let's see. I did. So
yeah,
uh,
beautiful.
yeah.
So then, after Bangladesh, you came to Malaysia. Tell us about your first time in Malaysia and how was it? What were your
Uh,
expectations? Were your expectation very different from what you saw once you were on the ground?
in Afghanistan, uh, when I got the assignment to Afghanistan, I was already given the follow-on assignment to the embassy
Mhm.
in Italy.
Oh wow!
Uh, yeah, I was going to be at the embassy in Italy,
Where in
um,
Italy? In Rome?
in Rome.
That would
Yeah,
have been a fun one.
yeah, but unfortunately, um, I came during my R&R from Afghanistan. I
Mm.
went home in December,
Mm.
Christmas time frame, to I was on a 2 week vacation, and when I got home, I discovered that my wife at the time was having an affair, and
Oh,
that was devastating.
sure.
So when I came back to Afghanistan, I didn't have my head on straight, and um, I lost the follow-on to Rome until I had to kind of reacquire it again. So I got it again. But then the same guy who helped me through was a very good friend of mine until today. He came to Malaysia during one of his R&Rs from Afghanistan, and he told me that, "Hey, Snow, they got Malaysia on the books for you. You're trying to get Italy, but they're offering you Malaysia." And I was just not taking Malaysia because I first of all I didn't know where it was. I like everybody else in America, I don't know what Malaysia is. And so
Yeah,
he explained to me that, you know what, you'll be a divorcee going to Rome. Your divorce dollars will go a lot further in Malaysia than in Rome.
especially
Your
back then.
house,
Wow. Yeah,
yeah, you're as a single man, your house will be smaller in Europe than in Malaysia. And
sure.
so he recommends I go to Malaysia. And so I said, you know what, screw it. Because I was going to Rome actually for my ex anyway.
Mm.
It was a gift to my ex to get a position in Italy. Uh, and so I pulled those strings and made that work out, but uh, didn't work out. Rome didn't work out. Malaysia did, and I'm glad it did because it is the absolute speed for me.
You told me it was pretty fun back then, as especially as a single man. Oh yes,
Yeah, it was. It's a good time.
yes, indeed. Yes, yes, yes. So, what made you?
Plus, I've already done Europe in the
Oh yeah.
past a lot before that. I've never done Asia before, so
So that was your first place in Asia, first ever.
yeah, my first tour, first time in Asia was the post in the embassy in Kuala Lumpur. So it was perfect perfect fit.
How long was your assignment in Malaysia?
4 years. Uh, 3 years. They've asked me to take over the office for the fourth year, so I took over the office before I retired.
Okay. So what made you stay in Malaysia as opposed to either going back home or going to another location?
Um, this this one little thing, this one little love of my life,
Oh yes.
Chong Paleon. No, I met my wife. I met who would become my wife a year before I retired. I met her in 2012,
Mm.
retired 2013, and just the speed, the lifestyle here, this whole whole feel and vibe of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia as a whole, but Kuala Lumpur in general, specifically, it fits. It fits. I fit here.
The quality of lifestyle is absolutely unmatchable. I've been blessed to have lived in 11, 12 countries on 4 continents, but I've never seen anything that high quality at that cost. And then in KL, and the people are so friendly, the food, the location, the weather. For me, it ticks all the boxes, and I can guess for you as well. Especially if it's that good now in 2023, it must have been probably 10 times better back in what 2007, 8, 9, 10.
I got here in 2009,
Yeah.
and it started its upward trend by 2012, 2013. It had peaked. And I retired, and I started doing some other business. I was making some really good money. So 2013 was ridiculous, but the global economy started going down at that time also. And then 2017 and 18, we started to feel a little rebound from economic crisis. But still, the lifestyle here was still amazing. Until COVID, of course.
Yeah. So how did you get into the logistic business? Was it something that you were led to, or something by accident, or you had your eyes on it before retiring?
No, I've done aviation operations and logistics, my entire career, military. I fine-tuned that business in Afghanistan, getting assets, people, equipment in and out of theater. And when I retired here, a previous company, they approached me. Payment, they did the thing right out of the storybooks. I took you to Marines on 57 before. On the top of Marines on 57, the CEO sat across the desk from me. He gave me a pen, one of the Marines napkins, and said, basically, we want you to work for us. Write your number down. Give me your figure. I wrote my number down, my figure, handed it back over to him. He looked at it. Welcome to the name of the company.
What was the position he offered you?
Logistics.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I thought he was offering me the job that I eventually ended up doing, but I was offered a position in these 3 other companies to get after the maritime logistics contract. And maritime logistics is not something I enjoy doing, and is also a big organization who's already had that contract. So I was not trying to compete with those guys. So I told those guys no. And I thought I was being hired for the land-based and aviation-based logistics pieces for this other company. When I accepted the position, I told the then partner he can work on other stuff with the boss, and I can take over what he's doing. He looked at me like I was crazy. And the boss says, oh, no. I don't want you for that job. I want you to build me my maritime logistics footprint.
Wow.
Like, dude, I just turned that job down by 3 other companies. But it's a big offer.
You made an offer you couldn't refuse, eh?
So I went to do that job, but while I was building the footprint, there was a huge Navy scandal here in this country. They in fact, you Google Fat Leonard, U.S. Navy scandal. He stole $200 million from the U.S. Navy over some time, and at that point, all ships stopped coming here. So I ended up doing the head of state logistics, which is what I became known for, working with President Obama Fleet Group, Secret Service, U.S. Marshals, working for the other embassies, Prince Charles and Camille when they came, those type of things.
So what exactly were you doing for this head of states when they were coming?
Oh, you can imagine they require lots of logistical support, anywhere from numbers of vehicles, hotel accommodations, route planning, stage buildings, audio video equipment, Yeah, whatever the requirement is to come in the country. I did a job for Google Summit, getting their teams around and setting their operations up in the Twin Towers,
Mm,
KLCC. We had clients from the Singapore International Math Competition Center, like the Math and Science Olympiad,
mhm.
19 countries, 2,000 people, moving them about logistically. Yeah, that's my specialty. I don't get excited about that anymore. If a job comes up to do that, I will do it. But the focus now is just mainly on giving back to the society.
Yeah.
Um,
We, given your experience, your contacts, were you at any time approached by by the Malaysian government or Malaysian military to work with them, for them?
wasn't approached by them. I was approached by the embassies.
Okay.
Whenever a foreign government comes to do business with the Malaysian military, they go through their respective embassy. The embassies reach out to service providers like myself to help support them provide logistics. I tell my clients I provide them stuff to shoot at, stuff to blow up. Um, you know, one of the requirements was for a vessel,
Yeah.
um, and because I know the background and the mission, I said, listen, I asked the client, are you gonna scuttle this vessel? Yeah, we're gonna take it out to sea. We're gonna run our approaches on it. We're gonna infiltrate it. Then we're gonna set the devices. We're gonna exfil and we're gonna detonate.
Oh,
They've asked me for some organizations ask me for vehicles, and they tell me how much the budget is for a vehicle. And so I know based on the budget price, I said, wait a minute, you guys gonna shoot at this car? Yeah, we're gonna shoot it. Okay, so you can't have these cars. You have to have some of the cars that we can get rid of. Uh, so yeah, stuff for foreign militaries doing business here. We
mhm.
provide those logistical footprints.
Okay. So now let's transition into what you're passionate about eyeballing. So how did the idea of eyeballing started? What's the genesis of it?
iBallin actually started. I joined the military in 1989. 1999 is when the genesis of iBallin would have started.
Wow.
Because what I was doing, at my 10-year mark in the military, that's the point where a lot of us in the military make the decision: do we continue on or do we go ahead and separate? Because 20 years is where you can retire and get a pension.
Mm,
So that's almost your halfway mark. If you make it 10 years, then you're almost halfway through. And so when I left Joliet, I told myself I'm gonna stay in the military, but when I retire, I'm gonna go back to Joliet and open up a rec center so that I can give the youth something positive to do. That's where it started.
beautiful.
I didn't go back to Joliet, and once I got here to Malaysia, I made a determination I'm not going back to Joliet. But what I still wanted to do something for my people, my hometown. So what can I do for them?
Mhm.
And that's where this thing kind of morphed into this competition tourism.
Wow. So tell
Um,
us more about it. So tell us more all the details because you told me, and it's a beautiful, beautiful principle. Fish. I love the motto that is play locally, win globally.
oh man, so I've been blessed to travel the world. I've gone to places where I got the instructions on what to do when I arrived. Uh, I've got it where I was given no instructions.
Wow.
Go to this country. Once you land here, make your way to this place, and wait someone to come get you. And I've had the experiences where when I landed, someone's got my nameplate held up and they take me to the hotel. I've had it to where someone finds out that I'm coming, they pick me up, they take me to the hotel, they find out what I'm interested in, they take me to all those places I'm interested in, similar to what I did for you, right?
Yes.
So
Mhm.
you arrive in this country. You arrive in this country for the very first time. Never been here before.
Yep.
The next day, somebody picked you up and they held your hand and done all these amazing things with you. I've had those experiences like that too. So I've learned that it's much more fun when someone does that kind of VIP red carpet treatment, these places.
Totally.
And so I've done that job for so many people over the years, people who are in a position of where they expect that sort of thing. And now I want to turn my attention to doing it for the exact same thing, but just for someone who's never been on a plane before. So you can imagine if I take someone from your hometown and give them a little inkling of that experience, they're gonna be wild, right? So that's the idea where iBallin was born. iBallin stands for International Ballin. If you can see the logo down here, International Ballin. And iBallin is an international competition platform. It's designed to take you from your local environment, playing a contest that you like to play, and get you to win. Play locally and win globally. You win an amazing trip around the world. And we're gonna send you to some very cool, exciting places that you would never first off ever think about going. Most people that you know, Lorenzo, well, you know a lot of people. Most people from your hometown. Malaysia is not even on the list of places to go. Europe, France, Spain, Germany, Italy, they're all at the top of the list.
Thailand, yeah, those are tough.
Malaysia, Southeast Asia, Malaysia ain't on the list, or if it is on the list, it's at the very bottom of the list. Until you come for the first time. Everyone that's come here, when they leave me, they say, "Man, I had the best time of my life anywhere in the world. We're coming back. It is a place you will come back."
Most people here can't even place Malaysia on a map, so let alone yeah.
Wow. So when I bring my competitors here to compete, again, iBallin is an international competition platform. The emphasis is on competition. We've already held a basketball competition 3-on-3. We've already held a 3-point shooting contest. We've already held a singing contest. This is all during COVID, and I've been.
It's not limited to basketball.
It's not limited to just basketball. It's competitions on a whole. I can't wait to get to the cooking contest. I have a bowling contest. I have a chopstick eating contest in the pipeline. Anything to compete and have fun, keep it light. You see,
Football.
I've done all these things for VIPs, logistically for VIPs, and those are high stress jobs and positions, which I enjoy. But those principals, they expect and they deserve that level of treatment. So I'm going to do the same thing for just Joe Bag of Donuts down the street.
One of the things I always wanted to do, something very similar to what you're doing, is giving back to the youth, especially in terms of mentorship, entrepreneurship, just like you're doing competition. But me, what I'm looking for is to offer an opportunity for the young to come pitch ideas, just like Shark Tank, but for people, just presented in front of a panel of successful entrepreneurs, and not only for them to get the practice, the presentation, exactly, but also eventually, hey, who knows? Maybe have some of the panels to invest in those businesses. Help those guys get their business off the ground. That's something that I'm looking at to do in the next 5 years. But that will be something also, maybe something we can do together. We have the platform. We can offer that for local entrepreneurs, say, around the world, from Joliet, from Toronto, from wherever, even from Kuala Lumpur, and
definitely
just online.
Definitely, it's a contest. If it's a contest format, iBallin is the platform for it. In fact, I've worked with some folks around here that has offered up mentor programs and what's the one called? It's apprenticeship positions. Where I said, so I'm no coach, I'm no trainer, but I definitely like the idea of bringing the young people here to compete. But while they're here competing, we will offer these other things to them, show them some different areas that they would never have otherwise thought about. you know what, Lorenzo, let me go back for a moment.
Yes.
Uh, the way we're going to attack this is by having those small towns, those communities around the globe, where primarily I'm talking about the U.S. market, where young people don't remotely think about getting a passport.
Yes.
You know, they don't. I've got multiple passports. They don't think about getting a passport. So we're going to get the people talking about Malaysia and talking about a passport. When they start doing those conversations, those are already wins for us. Because if you don't have a passport yet, and you win one of my contests, we're going to pay for your passport.
Wow.
We're making it possible for you to go from what do you need to go from your hometown to overseas. My format, I believe, is going to be disruptive in the way that we market it, because if you indulge me for a moment, I'll just tell you this: is
Please.
that the I'm not doing anything different in terms of contests and competitions. They've existed for decades, but they've been processed the same way. If you win your home small towns contest, you're now eligible to compete across town at the bigger level contest. If you win that contest, you're eligible to go to the state level contest. You win that regionals and then national. And if you win that big stage nationwide, then you only get to go overseas to compete in the global contest. There's
Mm.
three main reasons why people will never see you never see someone from your hometown on the biggest stage. Three main reasons. One is when they win a position to compete at the next level, but they got to fund themselves to go to the next level. They only get a free entry. And so
Mm.
that cost in and of itself stops everyone where I grew up, stopped everyone from going to the next level because it costs money. And we don't have a lot of money, we can't afford it.
Mhm.
The second reason, excuse me, second reason is the next level contest is on a certain date. That date, I'm in school, I got to babysit, I got to work, I can't get off. So then I don't go because of the date doesn't work for me. The third reason that you don't go forward is because it's a next level contest. The competition is that much higher, you're going to lose.
Mhm.
And so all these factors stop you from going overseas. So what iBallin has done is we're implementing our competition tourism brand, international balling, play locally, win globally. Now, when you play in your local contest and you win that contest, now you're eligible to come overseas. Oh, but
Mm.
wait a minute. What about the cost? What about the date? It works like this. Congratulations, Lorenzo, Payment Lorenzo. You won the penalty kickoff, the penalty shots for football. My name is Snow. I'll be your cultural attaché. Uh, all you have to do is tell us 2 months in advance when you want to travel, and then 2 weeks before it's time for you to go, we'll let you know where you're going, and we'll take care of all the expenses.
Beautiful.
So now you come 2 weeks before you travel. Hey Lorenzo, you know what? Pack your bathing suits and your sunblock because you're coming to sunny Kuala Lumpur, and we're gonna send you to the beaches of
It.
the pristine
Yeah.
beaches. So that's what we're doing. I think I found a way to do that now for more individuals with my NFT programs. This background right here. Um, I'm unlocking the NFTs loyalty program, where when you register for a contest, you'll get a set of NFTs minted, and it'll be up to you. Plus, we'll help you market those NFTs for collections. Every
Yeah.
time they're collected, it gets you one step closer to receiving your travel dreams of a lifetime.
Beautiful. All right, that's awesome. Another thing I'd like to talk about, and that's something that I know you're very passionate about, and that's something that you actually opened my eyes to, is NFT. How did you get into NFTs?
Oh, so I joined a team, an IT team called Rhino XR Studios.
Yeah.
They are building and launching their version of the metaverse called Megaverse. and I'm on their corporate team
Wow.
as the Malaysia India expansion coordinator for the metaverse. Doing some amazing things with that. Now the metaverse in IT, I'm not the best spokesperson for that. But we all know what the metaverse is. Well, we all don't know what the metaverse is and what it's doing, but it is coming along to be this amazing platform.
Mm-hmm.
And so we launched on our site our NFTs, and we have an amazing product that teaches you the fundamentals and tools of NFTs. I encourage everyone to go out and take a look at it. RhinoXRstudios.com and look at NFT collections. And on there's a tutorial that you can purchase for NFTs and tokens and all the ins and outs of NFTs. So on this platform, I got an account with these guys and got my brand iBallin to be have its own gallery in there. And I've been learning about the NFTs. NFTs, for those who don't know, non-fungible tokens. It's basically a form of currency that sits on the blockchain technology.
Hey, what does the F stand for? Non-what?
Non-fungible tokens.
Okay.
And so it's basically it sits on the blockchain. NFTs and cryptocurrency. But it's more particularly it has a smart contract attached to it, so it's a legal document. And so I just minted 30,500 of these NFTs right here behind. You see behind me. Mm-hmm. Anyone can go to Rhino XR Studios NFT collections, go to the iBallin gallery, find this NFT and collect it and hold it in your wallet. I think they cost a little more than $1. I think $1.12. But when you collect this token and you hold it in your wallet as a collector, NFTs have some monetary value to them. Sometimes they're very high monetary value, sometimes they're very low monetary values. But this NFT, when it sits in your wallet, is part of the iBallin loyalty program, NFT loyalty program. And what that is every month we're going to have a lucky draw. And if you have an iBallin NFT in your wallet, you're automatically in a lucky draw. Anything from dinner for two to staycation packages. We'll be looking to work with some of our partners and having some of their products up for lucky draws, like Leaders with the Heart, Volume 1. Up to our annual grand prize, which is a trip to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia for fantastic vacation. So imagine you collected an iBallin NFT. You did so because you want to support whoever the holder, whoever is the subject of the NFT is. In this case, it's me. For the shooting contest, the iBallin Around the World Challenge, I'm taking that challenge. So if you collect that to support me, cost you $1.10. You get the NFT in your wallet, and that NFT in your wallet, you could be the lucky winner of any of those prizes I mentioned before, or the grand prize at the end of the cycle, the end of the year, for an amazing vacation to Malaysia, all expenses paid, just for spending $1.10, or basically just for helping out your friend and colleague. This one I'm putting is my name, Snow. So if you were to register for one of my contests, we'll put your name across here as your own NFTs, and then encourage your fan base to collect them to support you. But more importantly, they're in a lucky draw. They're in the iBallin lucky draw. As a business model, we're helping companies make their own NFTs loyalty programs. So I'll show you how you, as a business owner, can have your own NFT loyalty program started, offer your guests whatever prizes you want to offer them, but they'll all be inherited to the iBallin prizes as well.
Beautiful.
So,
amazing. I gotta say, give credit where credit is due. You actually opened my eyes to the tremendous potential of NFTs. So I'm looking into that myself for my book, for my academy and everything. So
definitely.
thank you for that. And wow.
any of your listeners
Yes.
who hear this, um, uh, ask yourself the question. Loyalty programs existed forever.
Mm,
For the easy one to summarize it is, the coffee shop loyalty card. You buy a cup of coffee, you get a card, you get a stamp, and then you buy another cup of coffee, another stamp. You get 10 stamps, you get a free cup of coffee. That card, which is a piece of advertisement for the coffee shop, once you trade it in for coffee, that card goes in the trash.
mhm.
Well, these NFTs, they live out in the metaverse, in the space, forever. So the NFT loyalty program is going to be the next hottest thing in terms of IT technology for loyalty programs. I guarantee you that most likely, for companies who take this NFT loyalty program, your NFT will be the first NFT your customers have in their wallets, because right now nobody's collecting these NFTs this way. Everyone's collecting NFTs that cost a gazillion dollars, and they're going to try to go up to a gazillion more dollars, and it's not practical for the common man. So this one costs $1.10, and the practical use of it is, for you as an owner of the NFT. I mean, as the iBallin contestant, when yours trade to certain levels, there's amazing prizes of travel for you. For your customers or your friends and your family who help you get to those levels, those we call them milestones, they themselves have an opportunity every month for a lucky draw and to win some cool prizes. Again, dinner for two, movie theater tickets, our partners, books and services, all the way up to a trip to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Because my whole goal and purpose in life right now is to get as many people qualified to come to this amazing city, and see what it's like on the other side of the world. I do this with some people. If you grab a basketball in your hand and you touch your right index finger, that would be where you are, U.S., Chicago, Canada. And if you touch your left thumb on the other side of the world, that's where we are in Malaysia, literally on the other side of the planet.
Beautiful.
It's just about as far as you can get from the Midwest. Statutory miles. Yeah.
And I can attest from first-hand experience in Malaysia, especially Kuala Lumpur is one of the most amazing places in the world. The background you see, that's not the background from the internet. It's actually in my swimming pool at the place I stayed for almost 3 months.
Gorgeous.
And I stayed at that place, beautiful one-bedroom apartment for like $850 US on Airbnb. I didn't even bother negotiating because that's actually cheap in Toronto. Even a room in a shared house is going to be $1,500. A studio is going to be $3,000. I said, you know what? Just shut up and let's do it. So so I'm saying the quality you get, the value you get is phenomenal, is unmatchable. I can't think of any other place where you can get such a high quality, given that on top of that, Malaysia, especially Kuala Lumpur, is very highly developed. It's a first world country, first world amenities, but at a fraction of the cost. So anyone looking into an amazing place, consider Malaysia. You will not regret it. You will actually be kicking yourself for not thinking about it earlier. That's how I felt. I've been hearing about Malaysia for the past 10 years, but finally the stars aligned, and I just went on January 11. I was supposed to be there for 2-3 weeks, maybe a month tops, because I wanted to go to Vietnam and Indonesia and the Philippines. But man, once I landed, once I saw the swimming pool, I saw the quality, the value, the friendness of the people and everything. I said, man, hey, I'm not going anywhere. And now I'm looking to come back. I was looking to come back in September, but now that I'm back in Canada, I see how everything is so freaking expensive and how good things are in KL. So what? I want to come back earlier as soon as I get my passport renewed.
Yeah, the quality of life is night and day, hands down, compared to
yes,
every place. And as you said, the cost factor, that's what makes it very tough to beat.
And it's very safe. There are places that you can go, say in South America, where you can have a good quality of lifestyle, but you always have to to be on the lookout. It's not safe, but in KL, you can walk around at any time of the day with your phone in your hands, dressing nice. It's very safe. I love that.
That's another reason why I decided to stay here is the security element. It is really safe.
Yeah.
Lot less crime than most other places.
Especially given all the craziness in the US, even now it's getting to Canada, so some areas of Toronto that you would not, it's in best interest not even venture there, even during daytime. Whereas here, it's,
That's that's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. The level of violence that's spreading around.
yeah.
It's just too bad. And here, yeah, it's just that sort of thing just doesn't exist.
And the friendliness of the people is a phenomenal hub for traveling. The weather is nice. Sure, it rains and it's hot, but I'll take that over the cold, the freezing cold, and all that any time of the day.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Listen, we've been talking almost for 2 hours. We can talk for hours, but
Oh wow.
let's start to wrap things up. It's been an hour and a half
Yes.
now. Let's wrap things up. So to finish, I'd like to ask you another series of rapid fire questions, but this time on advices. Ready?
Okay. I'm gonna try to keep my responses short.
No worries, no worries. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice I've ever received. Be true to yourself. First, find out and learn who you are. Find out who yourself is, and then be true to that person. It took
Beautiful.
me a long time. I'm still working on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. What would you say has been so far the worst piece of advice you've received?
Probably
Get a job.
no, when someone says, listen to me.
Trust me.
Try, listen to me. No, you don't want to do that. Listen to me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, imagine that you were blessed with a time machine. You can go back in time and sit face to face with an 18-year-old Snow. What's the number one piece of advice you would give to him, knowing all that you know now?
I've had this question before,
Hmm.
and the only thing I would advise that 18-year-old self to do is to is one thing. One main thing is just pay a little bit more attention in school.
Oh, yes.
Just pay learn a little bit more. Pay attention a little bit more. People learn stuff after high school, college, and these other experiences, but I've found, I'm not sure if this is the same for everyone, but what you learn in high school, grade school, what you learn in high school, that's the foundation of all your future learning experiences. So if I could just pay a little bit more attention in school, develop some type of system for learning, I think it would have been in a much better place. Don't get me wrong. I don't have any regrets on the roads my journey has been thus far. I just wish I would have paid a little bit more attention in school, because the position I'm in right now, I think I would have gotten there a lot faster.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I know you don't have your podcast yet, but you will have it soon. Imagine that today you had a powerful podcast, and today you have the most special guest in the world, and which is yourself. So you're interviewing yourself. What's the first question that comes to mind that you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. The first question that comes to your mind.
Yeah. Hey, Snow, I have one question for you. Why did you do it?
And what's your answer?
Why did I do it? Oh, I think because I have a lot to give. I have a lot to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I want as many people as I can possibly get to experience this life. Listen, I don't have a lot of money, but my life is ridiculous right now. I don't know what else I want besides maybe some more money.
Ridiculous in what way? In a good way and a
My life is ridiculously fulfilled.
okay, yes.
It's again. I wake up every morning. Well, most mornings, 7 times out of 10 in the morning, I'm at this desk. The sun is coming up over my left shoulder, and when it does, I draw the curtains open. I have my coffee, and I take a moment to let those sun rays hit my face and just think how blessed I am.
You just see the Twin Towers in front of you, or you're just a few minutes away from it. Yeah.
The Twin Towers is 1 block behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm incredibly blessed, and I want to share this with as many people as I possibly can. My personal goal, Lorenzo, is to get 2,000 people qualified coming here every month.
Beautiful. That's a powerful goal to shoot for. Wow.
We can do it. We can do it. And
Absolutely.
I've learned. I think I may have learned the solution is through first off this power of podcasting to get my message out to more people, and then the key to helping more people qualified to come is by these NFTs.
Yes.
Where you told me podcasting changed your life, I believe these NFTs will be the thing to help me change millions of lives.
I can see that, especially considering your passion. That's something that whenever we're together, you would not shut up and talk about NFTs because I can see your passion in it. And yes, you will.
Not long before I met you, the light came on. My Don LaPlume, the CEO of Rhino XR Studios, he put me into a corner and he showed me what this thing is. I said, "Oh my God!" The light came on.
Yes,
that was it. So that platform works out very good for me.
Beautiful. Now, if you had the entire world watching you and you had 30 seconds, what would be your message?
30 seconds, the whole world watching me. Well, listen, I would plug my iBallin platform. Yeah.
Beautiful.
If the whole world is watching, I can guarantee you, I would give my elevated pitch for my iBallin platform. That's what I would do, because again, I'm going down the road of my sole purpose in life is going forward is going to be to pay it forward as many times as I possibly can.
Yes.
So world, get ready. iBallin's coming. International Ballin is coming to your neck of the woods. Whatever you enjoy doing, whether it's sports, whether it's arts, we have a poetry writing contest that's coming online very quickly. We have a photography contest, dance, singing contest that we do. It's very simple. Go out to iBallinglobal.com, register, get yourself a set of NFTs, and the NFTs are the ticket to unlocking the amazing areas that you just talked about in Kuala Lumpur, plus other locations. I'm talking about Europe, France, Italy, Spain. One on the very short list is South Africa.
Wow.
First destination,
gorgeous.
Kuala Lumpur. First destination, Kuala Lumpur. Second destination, most likely will be South Africa.
Beautiful place. Beautiful. Awesome. Now, the last question I want to ask you, and that's my favorite question to ask all my guests, and I've asked that to you in person many times. What is the smallest thing you've done that has had the greatest, deepest, most profound positive impact in both your life and business? For me, as you know, it's been podcasting. What about you, Snow? By small, I don't mean something small. I mean the one thing.
This is going to sound like a shameless plug, but I guarantee you it is not. When I picked up this book.
Oh, thank you.
I picked up this book,
yeah,
Leaders with the Heart, and read those powerful stories. When I've listened to you speak to different people about podcasting, and I have an aversion for being in front of the camera, but going through those chapters in this book has made the singular most profound moment in my journey right now. And I've told you that I've taken photos and shots. I'm terrible at social media posting. That's all about the change, due large in part to this to this book. So
I
so
appreciate that.
I'm a champion. I'm a fan of Leaders with the Voice in the power of podcasting, and so I'm looking forward to going through your program and quite possibly being one of the contributors to volume 2.
I'm honored. Thank you for that. It means a lot coming from you. You're like a brother for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, and I can't wait for you to share your powerful message, not only about the movement you're creating through iBallin, but also share your own gifts, your own wisdom with the world. Because as I told you, you've been blessed with incredible life, incredible nuggets, and now it's time to share those with the world. So listen, brother, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best time to find you, to reach you?
Please go out to visit me on my social media platform at iBallin Official, IBALLIN Official, iBallin Official on all platforms. You can find us there.
All right, I'll put all of it in the show notes. Send me all your links. Listen, Snow, brother, absolute honor, absolute blast talking to you. We could talk for hours, and I salute you. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep shining your light. Keep blessing the world with your presence, with your impact, with your smile, with everything you're doing. Stay safe. Stay awesome. God bless you, brother. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Let's do it again soon. Okay.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.